the sun is just starting to climb up over the treetops. And it's gonna be a beautiful day, that's plain to see.
Welcome to Bill Dance Outdoors, America's most popular and longest running TV fishing show.
Now I've gone fishing with Bill Dance today.
You know, it's been said that a crappie is a crappie, but they're two distinct species. You got the white and you got the black. And in many rivers and lakes, both are present. And the behavioral patterns may vary somewhat. For instance, the black prefers, let's say, clear water, where the white prefers more of an off-colored environment. And whites, well, they don't school as tightly as the black crappie. And black crappie, well, let me tell you, when you hang one, they're a lot more aggressive and they fight harder. Okay, where we're gonna fish today, there's nothing but black crappie. And what these fish are feeding on is small shad minnows. So let's get out there, look around the island and see if we can locate a school of shad and see if we can catch some. You know, the only way I can tell you how to spell crappie, or let's say the only way I can tell you to spell excitement, you spell it C-R-A-P-P-I-E. So let's go catch some excitement, okay? Ooh, look right here. We've got two big balls of shad, and right in the middle of it, if you look at the graph, we'll show you a shot of the graph right here. We've got two big balls of shad minnows, and right in the middle of that, about 6 to 8 feet, we've got a big school of crappie. And right over here in the deeper depths, you can look right off here, there's a school of bass hanging off the right side of that big cluster of shad. As aggressive as the black crappie is over the white, they both basically feed the same. Their normal feeding methods, well, they're not jar and strikes like a bass. They simply inhale or suck their food in from underneath. Now these little fellows don't have jaws of a smallmouth bass, or say the teeth of a muskie. So they are really limited to the size of what they can eat. This is why smaller size baits seem to work so doggone well so many times. I've seen the times a bait like this, you could throw it and throw it and throw it and not get a strike, and then switch off to something just half that size and reduce the weight of your jig down to a 30-second and catch fish after fish after fish. Whoa, buddy. All right, swing on around this, swim just around this way, my boy. Swim on around. Swim on around. Swim on around. Buddy, I'm gonna net you. Look at the size of this one. That's a big old black crappie right there for you. Look at that one. Black crappie are not true open water fish. Sure, they feed, suspend, next and close to cover, and will move from one location to another over open water. And they can be caught over open water. But normally, they're really not a true open water fish like that of the white crappie. Most predators have their eyes set topside or forward. Therefore, they're more comfortable and efficient in feeding in an upward position. In other words, they can see forage and baits moving better, or better yet, above eye level.
Today's show is brought to you by Zebco. teaching America to fish since 1949. Pure Marine Odor Eliminator eliminates foul fish odors from gear, compartments, and empty live wells. And Tracker Boats, fish the finest. Today's Conditions Log, brought to you by Wormville, USA, bringing you big fat red worms and night crawlers from the nation's largest worm farm for 30 years. Wormville, USA, fish love them.
There's one bump. I'll bring them around that side because it's so much easier to land them there instead of climbing over that. I can get you with my hand, I think. What we're using is a little 16th ounce Bass Pro weedless jig. I'll show you the jig, this particular jig that we're using. But like I say, that hadn't even spawned yet. See, buddy? Okay, here's the one we're using. It's called a Crappie Max Bass Pro's Baby Shad in the Ice Out color. That's a real good color. Exceptionally good color. And like I say, we've got it rigged on a little 1/8 ounce weedless Bass Pro jig, round head jig. We're using a rod we designed for Bass Pro. It's a little extremely sensitive graphite rod. The length on the rod is 6'5". It's a Bill Dance exclusive rod. It's got a quick tip, tremendous amount of backbone, as you can see here. Today we're using a fantastic line that I am really sold on. It's Cast King's tripolymer monofilament, which incorporates 3 nylon lines into one mono that has extremely low light refraction, similar to fluorocarbon. It's super smooth and highly abrasion resistant. Plus, it has a tremendous low stretch factor. Hey, tell you something else I've noticed over the years while crappie fishing. The majority of black crappie I catch are normally caught next to cover or not very far from it. Very seldom do I catch them out in open water unless they're relating to cover or cover is close by. Now, white crappie, well, they're a completely different story. They can be suspended in schools or scattered about. Black crappie, as I said, are not a true open water fish and spend most of their lives suspended around cover. And the black crappie is generally considered to have a longer lifespan than that of the white. Now, the rate in which crappie grow, well, that's directly linked to several environmental factors. Habitat, heredity, and temperature of the water, amount and type of available food, geographical location, competition for food, living space, plus other factors play a big role. Here's something you might find interesting. Crappie are generally considered a short-lived fish. Their longevity is similar to other members of the sunfish family. Yep, the crappie is a member of the sunfish family. Now, in many waters, crappie typically live 3 to 6 years, with individuals in some waters reaching 8 years or more. One of the oldest reported was 13 years old, and it was a black crappie. Another key to big crappie definitely is their diet. The size is of essence, and small is usually best. You don't want to use a bait this big to catch crappie. Little bitty baits seem to work best. The amount and the type of food items eaten also varies with the time of year. Crappie size and availability of prey. They eat zooplankton, aquatic insects, and fish. Now, zooplankton is a major food for, let's say, little bitty crappie when they're first born and as they grow. As they do grow, small larvae and adult aquatic insects become very important. It becomes a very important food source. Ultimately, small fish become the most important food source for adult crappie in most waters.
Today's show is brought to you by Zebco, teaching America to fish since 1949. Pure Marine Odor Eliminator eliminates foul fish odors from gear, compartments, and empty live wells. And Tracker Boats, fish the finest. Today's equipment log is brought to you by Gamakatsu, because the fish of a lifetime only comes once in a lifetime. Today's show is sponsored by Monster Marine Lithium. Lighter, stronger, longer. Bill Dance exclusive rods by Quantum. We have an action for you. And by Garmin. Fight your fish, not your fish finder.
You know, we've been casting and using the technique is just a countdown method. But what makes this sport so special is the multitude of ways that you can catch these fish. And I have yet to find a way of catching them that I hadn't just thoroughly enjoyed. Over my lifetime, one particular way that I've thoroughly enjoyed catching them is vertical fishing. Taking a 10-foot jigging pole and just easing up the cover and just jigging straight down and just feeling that thump and just pulling them straight up out of cover. Oh, man, there we go. Oh, look at that. It just fell out. I like it when they curl their tail. Curl your tail. Now he curls it to me. Now he's going to curl it to you. There we go. Another popular way that is to take a slip float, where you take a bopper stopper and set it at a particular depth, and take a slip float and a weight and a jig and cast to them and just work it right over the top of cover. That's, to me, is an exciting way to fish, simply because what you see that bobber go under. And I guess that takes you back to your childhood of watching a float go under. Just throwing it out, reeling it, and shaking it, and then just seeing it go, and then just setting the hook and catching a fish called slip floating or slip bobbing or whatever you call it. And I like to use a balsa float because it's lightweight, and when a fish pulls on it, he doesn't feel any resistance. That particular technique has been a high percentage way. Another percentage way, a high percentage way, is where we take a little Lindy elbow spinner like this, and we attach it to a jig. And what we do is it's kind of like a mini spinnerbait. You got it rigged, and it looks like a baby version of a spinnerbait. You just take it, rig it on, and then close it, and there it is. Just a little elbow spinner with the jig attached. There's one. Whoa. That's a better one. Running right, look at him going. That's a big one there. Ooh, look at that one. Around the motor. Okay, buddy, I'm gonna ease back here. I'm gonna net you. I don't want to run a chance of losing you. Oh, come up here. Whoa, didn't I tell you that was a good one? Woo. Look at this one. Boy, that's a dandy right there. All right, I'm gonna get you back in the plate. See ya.
The Bill Dance question and answer of the week is brought to you by Wormville, USA. We've been growing these big fat red worms and night crawlers for 30 years. Drop by your local retailer for some Wormville worms today.
Ever wondered what makes one red worm better than another? Is it something they say? Nah. Is it their expression? Absolutely not. What is it? It's where they're born and raised. The nurseries at Wormville. Tell you what, let's take a look. Big, fat, healthy, 3-inch Wormville worms.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Cast King Tri-Polymer and Hammer Braid Fishing Lines, and by Garmin Force Trolling Motors. Fish with force. Closed captioning provided by Power Pole, the original shallow water anchor. Today's product tip is brought to you by Garmin and their GPS map series, chart plotter sonar combos with their advanced sonar technology. Like Panoptic's Live Scope all-seeing sonar, you'll spend less time finding your fish.
Pure Marine odor eliminator products cut right to the source, destroying the odor-causing molecules. These eliminators can be used in live wells, storage compartments, boat surfaces, and on fishing gear without the fear of corrosion. Just spray Pure Marine on and let it dry. There's no need to rinse with water. Pure Marine, a superior odor eliminator.
Come be part of Bill Dance Digital. Join us on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, and YouTube. Follow us.
Oh yeah, look, a good one. Another fatty. I mean a fat one right here. Look at this one. Golly. Look at the size of that. That's a big one right there, boy. Oh, come on, bacon. Look at that one. Ooh-wee. Look at that big fat one. Doggone wind. That old net comes in handy. Look at that one. That big fatty. Oh, boy, that's a pretty crappie. I tell you, during late winter and through mid-spring, some fishermen think when they're catching black crappie, well, in reality, what they're doing, they may be catching black crappie, but a lot of them think they'll call it a black crappie. But in reality, many of these are not black crappie. They're white male crappie. Now, what happens? A white male, they go through a hormone change just before the spawn, and that normally lasts through late spring on into early summer, and by then they return to the normal color. But they look a lot like a black crappie, But if you look at them real close, you can still see those vertical bars in there. And it's really a white crappie. The color change is why many fishermen actually believe there's only one species. And the true black crappie is really just a white male, but it just ain't so. There's a fish. Somebody hit it, we're swimming with it. Didn't even know it. Oh, ho, ho, ho. There's some weight there. That's a good one. Oh, good. Oh, good gosh, look at that one. Look at the size of that. Open up. There we go. That's a big, fat jissy right there. Talk about prolific. Those in the know say, aside from bluegill, more crappie are caught each year by anglers than any other fish. And most good fishermen can tell you that lakes with too many crappie will produce smaller fish because their growth is slowed. Now this is why these bodies of water need to be heavily harvested, legally of course. Well, it's that time again for us to pack it up and move on and let these remarkable little fish rest up and continue to do what they've always done. It's been fun, and we sure hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have, and we hope to see you next time.
Thanks for watching Bill Dance Outdoors. Join us here again next week.
Now I'm gone fishing with Bill Dance today.